It is still a kind of chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman and myself, LTB as your hostess. We are talking diamond prospects. We have touched on the history of diamonds in Namibia, but also, Mr. Daniel Steinman, you mentioned something before we went on the break that the state of the market, is it doing that well?
Yes, I don't want to raise any alarm, and I don't want to exaggerate. So I'm saying the market is weak. It's not close to collapse. It's not in any crisis. Not like it was in 2008. Then it was very close to collapse. It was in severe crisis, and then obviously in COVID, you saw the impact. But the reasons during COVID are obviously different than the reasons in 2008. I mean, in 2008 with the Great Recession, the whole world was affected. The thing is, what you need to know if you want to understand a diamond is that there's a so-called diamond value chain. And this is what I was referring to before we went on the break, that it gets mined by a ship. And the other independent producers, they still mine more or less in the old way. They dig for them in the ground. Then it gets sorted, but it's a preliminary sortment. And you have to remember, you can be diamond miner whoever you want. If you want to be in business, you market through the Diamond Mining Trading Corporation. So it means unless you sell grey diamonds from Angolan sources or from Malawian sources, all formal diamonds are marketed through a system, a channel that is controlled by De Beers. This is essentially a single market channel. And it's not entirely single, but there are only two huge diamond marketing platforms in the world. The one is the De Beers Group, the other one is Almay Rossi, which is the Russian part. So it's the free world's diamonds versus the Russian diamonds. And you can make up your mind, if you are a diamond trader, where you want to go buy. With De Beers it works like this, or with the Diamond Trading Corporation, is that you are a site holder. And you pay for that privilege to be a site holder. And there are only 270 of them. And it means that you can go and attend all the auctions. And you can go and buy all the diamonds you want. But there's one proviso. You have to buy diamonds at every auction. There's a certain level below which you cannot go.
You have to
buy. If you want to be a site holder, it's not just a tag or a label. You have to be an active dealer in diamonds, and it means that you have to buy at every auction. And the only choice that you have is which pockets you buy and which you don't buy. Now, the diamond industry is very fly since 1928. Only about 10, if you take a pocket of about let's say 200 carats, only about 15 to 20 carats of that pocket are the stones with the real value. This is what the traders are after. But you have to buy the entire pocket. You can't pick out what you want. You can pick which pocket you want to buy. But if you take that one, you take the 15% good stones with the 85% not so good stones. And this is where designers in the jewelry industry, where they become very important. For all those small diamonds, they have to make these brooches and these necklaces and rings and stuff with many dozens of small little diamonds. And this only started in the 80s. And this was a De Beers campaign to try and get the market active to accommodate all those small stones. And they were very successful. I mean, if the name Jenna Clifford, you can just say that and every woman's eyes go all watery and teary. Wow, I would love to have a big fat Jenna Clifford on my finger. And there's not one stone in there more than about 250 points, a quarter of a carat is the biggest. The rest of them are really small little stones. But it means that a very solid jewelry market, niche market was created for the smaller stones. So now we're back at the auction. You have to buy. So the thing that I picked up about 3 weeks ago in Martin Rappaport's report is that for the first time in something like at the end of the World War, I think, like 50 or 60 years, De Beers has allowed site holders not to buy. They've ever actually exonerated them from that commitment that you have to buy at the auction. Because what happens now with this diamond value chain is that it has to remain in balance. There has to be a balance between what the producers, the Debmarines and the Namdebs, what they mine, then what is sorted and what is sold in Gaborons, and then what goes from there to the polishers, from the polishers to the jewelers, and from the jewelers to the retail market. The you and I that want to have a nice shiny stone for our wife or our husband. You see, that thing, you don't want bottlenecks in that value chain. It must run smoothly, and it can run a bit faster and it can run a bit slower. It actually display that type of dynamics on a seasonal basis. That in the last quarter of the year, the retail side of the diamond market is very active. Now, according to Mr. Rappaport, the weakness comes from the previous year, from the last quarter of 2022, and that for the whole of 2023, the retail side of the diamond market has never really come back on stream.
Okay.
And they are very concerned. And Templeton is giving out similar messages. But I mean, this whole thing, you heard the point I made about being a site holder, you have to buy.
You have to.
And now for the first time in 60 years, the BA said it's okay if you don't buy at this auction, because they know that there's they call it inventory. There are too many stones at the polishers. There are too many stones at the jewelers. The diamonds don't sell. And this is a problem for us, because we are only focusing on the production side.
Yeah.
The rest of the marketing chain it's offshore, it's outside Namibia.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect us so directly. But you can imagine for yourself, it's common sense. If the nice polished stones in the jewelry don't sell, eventually the thing is going to clog up.
Yep.
And it will come to a standstill.
Yes.
And that is the big concern. And this is what De Beers is addressing now, trying to sort of uncork that side of the stream so that it can start flowing again. But they don't. You will not believe it. Do you know what they have allocated to marketing for the last 3 months of this year? $200 million American dollars. That is 2 billion Namibia dollars that they've allocated just for advertising, marketing, promotion, to get the retail side flowing again. And they have to do it, because if they don't do it, within 6 months, we have problems.
We have, definitely.
Interesting, eh?
Very interesting. And I think you could, or I believe you could see my facial expressions the whole time while this conversation took place. Very interesting, and I'm sure that the listeners also did find it very interesting. Never looked at diamonds that way. I only looked at it on my finger. And on that note, thank you so much for keeping it locked to the Power Station Energy 100. Thank you so much to our loyal listeners. And of course, thank you so much to Mr. Daniel Steinman for always bringing up a topic that is of public interest. And with that, until we meet again next week, from me, Elsa Bitimyani, goodbye.